Come on, let's go, boys, come on! Sorry, Karen.
Welcome to the Theatre of Dreams, Darcy Street, for this very important game to kick off the 2019 season. Our first game here for Slice of Cheese for the year, and a very important occasion, this one, the Save Hakeem game. Obviously, his club, Pascoe Vale, who he should be stepping out on the pitch for today, coming down to Tasmania to take on South Hobart in this pre-season friendly. It would normally be at this time of year a fairly unimportant game, but it takes on a whole new meaning today, doesn't it, Jake Morgan? Welcome back for another season, my friend.
Well, it's certainly good to be back here, and I do feel somewhat ambivalent today, because although it is fantastic to be here for what will be a wonderful day of football, we do have our hearts and minds with Hakeem and the trouble that he's found himself in over in Thailand at the moment. And yeah, we are all certainly thinking of him, and it's good to see the Tasmanian football community being able to organise something in concert with Pascoe Vale for the man Hakeem El Arabi.
So obviously the more recent developments quite disheartening there with facing extradition. He's going to have that court hearing now, so it really is getting critical. So if you haven't already and you are watching this, the petition and GoFundMe, etc., in the YouTube links there, they're on the FFT Facebook page. There's a couple of different petitions going around. There's a Change.org one, there's an Amnesty International one. Please do what you can to support there. There's a GoFundMe set up to help his legal defence, but whatever we can do, hopefully we can raise some good money and awareness today for this plight, because he is one of ours. He's a footballer, he's a member of the football family, and it's damn right tragic what he's going through right now. So any way we can help, we certainly want to. So we encourage you to share this. Let's get Save Hakeem trending again, and let's have, I suppose, Thailand and Bahrain receiving a very loud message from the community today.
Yeah, and I certainly think that message will be coming through strongly, Andrew. Just a particularly terrible example of the types of tragedies that can befall refugees across the world, and it's truly tragic to see somebody that is clearly recognised as a refugee simply trying to enjoy a holiday away with a partner and have something like this happen so unjustly to them. So we're certainly hoping that we can do our part today, contributing to what really is a global outcry.
And a big group photo being taken here at the moment. They're heading down to the pitch to show their support. Nick McKim and Andrew Wilkie down there have been certainly key members, I suppose, of the campaign down here in Tasmania, and wasn't unfortunately able to make it down here today, but I think we must pay tremendous credit to the man who I think's brought more attention to this than anyone. He's been a man on a mission, and that's Craig Foster.
Yep.
There's been nothing short of heroic this last week or so.
No, and it's certainly good to see notable public figures in the football community stepping forward to really show concern for a plight that may seem reasonably separate to football, but it certainly won't feel that way if you are a Pascoe Vale fan.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, when this campaign started, it was, oh, let's hope you can be down here playing in this game. Obviously, that hasn't happened, and the situation getting more and more dire. So, showings of public support very important, because we do need to send a message to Thailand that this is unacceptable. This man's been granted refugee status, and it should never have happened. You know, the finger pointing can wait till afterwards in terms of how it came to be, but let's just get this man home, because he's got a wife waiting for him, and I know all his teammates, speaking to a few of them, would absolutely love to have him back out there with him.
Yep, it's certainly fantastic to see a turnout like this in a small place like Tasmania. No personal connection to Hakeem Al-Arabi, but something that many members of the community are passionate about down here, and that is something that we should be grateful for. But hopefully it's the combination of events like this down in Tasmania and events over in Melbourne and around Australia that will really send the message to the Thai government, because it has been well established that Hakeem Al-Arabi is a legitimate refugee, and they would certainly be in breach of obligations, arguably, if he were to be returned to Bahrain. But this is just a fantastic show of community support.
And players will come out and join them shortly in this show of unity. Those of us just tuning in now, lovely day down here at Darcy Street. Or South Hobart versus Pascoe Vale in the Save Hakeem game, the match for Hakeem. Some things are bigger than football, and wonderful showing here. Well done to South Hobart too. Vicky Morton in particular has been very much on the front foot of this, organising this game and organising the campaign, helping draw attention to the issue. And some good images here at the moment coming through.
Wonderful to see from this club, South Hobart, that they can use fixtures like this, not just for football and to be getting ready for the new season and preparing for the sport that we all love, but showing solidarity with those who tragic circumstances have befallen.
Yeah, sure. No worries.
And also, 5-minute mark of this game, there'll be a minute's applause from the same people here. There's, of course, his number, Pascoe Vale. Hopefully see him out there in the number 5 at some point in the 2019 NPL season. Work with some of these banners here, Morgs.
Certainly is.
Can you go in closer, Laura? In closer to the group.
This is like an orchestra here at the moment. The conductor, the photographer's really conducting it, just getting everything set up. I think they're on a winner now. The big banner at the back. I think it had to happen. They were in the middle. Come on, bit of turn.
They've certainly done a good job of sending the message here today. And that is the hashtag that we will hopefully have trending across Australia and the world. Social media is such a key way for citizens to engage with their governments these days and make their wishes and views heard. And I can think of scarcely fewer issues that are more deserving of recognition than this one. It's fantastic to see the Tasmanian community coming together like this And all of the players of both of these clubs too.
Wonderful. So there's a real power of football on display here today. A real unifying force, and it's fantastic to see two teams who undoubtedly will do battle on the pitch, but for now coming together for this worthy cause. And to use the hashtag Save Hakeem in the social media posts to share this video. Let's try and get this thing spread around a little bit.
Certainly really good to see the unity between the players down there too, Andrew. Already played one leg of a double-legged fixture against Pascoe Vale, have South Hobart. And you can certainly see that it appears the players are getting along well and really unified in this goal here today. We'll give some credit to our community organiser here. He's done a fantastic job.
I thought that was a good note to end on. There's a bit of force in the last one, but these photographers always want one more, don't they? And vindicated too. Some real passion in that last one. Fantastic scenes out here on Darcy Street. We've seen many a fight side on this ground in recent years. It's been a great spectacle and a lovely place to come watch a game of football, but I'm not sure we've seen anything quite that powerful on this ground for a while. So well done to all involved there in the campaign, and let's hope the two teams now can go out and put on a bit of a show and entertain. That's another reason why we're here to celebrate the power of football and what it can do, and football is so effective because it's such a brilliant game that we all love.
That's exactly right, because we want to be able to live our lives freely and happily so that we can do the things that we love, and for many of us football is number one on that list, and so we will all be thinking of Hakeem today as his team gets down here in Tassie and begins to play. Certainly be wishing that Hakeem could be down here with all of us and playing, but do please get involved so that we can hopefully ensure that that happens in the future.
So we'll run you through the starting 11s now. I suppose if we go to a more traditional pre-game with the squads, South Hobart might provide us with the starting 11, but they've got the whole playing squad, and we'll soon figure out who's out there. But they've named today number 1, Kieran Brown, who will be in goals. I'd assume Graham Wright. The other option I think will be on the bench. Gilly de Souza has had a real impact at the Kingborough Lions, the Brazilian, last year, and he's returned to the state. He'll be with South Hobart here. Number 3, Adam Gorry. There was plenty of talk he was headed for Melbourne. They seem to have kept a hold of him, which is huge. He's one of the premier fullbacks of the competition. The archer, Jack Bowman, an option in defence. Rasmus Philipson, 19-year-old Danish centre-half. Looking forward to having a peruse at him. Another one Morton has just pulled out of the scouting network there. Here's one that I know will get you going, Morgs. Number 6, Declan Foley. New signing for South Hobart, and oh, look at that look. That's
wow.
That's a key signing, I feel.
Wow, that is going to add some power into that midfield, isn't it? He plays the midfield like a drum, does Declan Foley. Absolutely gets in there and smashes into the challengers, so he will inject some real solidity into that South Hobart lineup. And geez, if you think about him lining up next to Loic Farrell, that will be a pretty imposing midfield line.
Well, indeed, Loic Farrell, I can see starting today. Nick Morton, Pajari Sculthorpe, Alex Walter, Ben Hamlet, Toby Havainen, another one they've lured across from Kingborough, so 2 good signings there. Albie Lazinski fit again and looking in pretty trim shape out there, you've got to say, big Albie. He'll play 20 minutes today, I'm informed. Hugh Ludford, Oscar Thomas, Ewan Larby, Graham Wright and Tay Evans. The rest of the squad will quickly zoom through the completely foreign to us, so bear with us for the first half especially. Pascoe Vale team, in goals, Nick Feely, Gonzalo Abascal, number 4, Matthew Hennessy, Josh Calabria, number 6, number 2, Adrian Talarasio, number 13, Matthew Ballon, or Matteo Ballon, I think it might be. Not the greatest handwriting on this sheet, I must say. Number 8, Joseph Youssef. Number 11, Felipe Bernabeu Madrid. Santiago, the Bernabeu, will run with something like that, no doubt. Dimi Hatzimaradis, number 16, and the unmissable figure, number 10, the big Davy Von Schip, an opposing player out there. They'll be the starting 11, and we're just about underway. Yeah, with this one. a look at the visiting Pascoe Vale team. They finished 4th in the NPL Victoria last year, so it's an indication of how strong they are. And they'll give South Hobart quite the test this afternoon, I'd imagine.
Well, if you're finishing as highly as that in a competition as fierce as the NPL Victoria, you certainly know that they're going to be a quality team. They just had the wood over South Hobart in that first leg. Well, I suppose they're not really legs, but rather 2 pre-season friendlies, but we could treat them as such if we wish. They did get the win over South Hobart 3-1 quite comfortably in the end over in Pascoe Vale. So South Hobart will be hoping that they can just take the home ground advantage a bit and respond here.
Slightly stronger front three today. It was pretty inexperienced front line South Hobart had that day, so we'll see how they go. But Gilly de Souza and Foley in the midfield, they've added some real size. No Jack Turner out there today, but they're not going to be missing muscle, that's for sure.
Certainly just thinking that. This is certainly one of the less technical looking South Hobart teams that I've seen in quite some time. Just interesting to see that the shape that they're going to be going with today, it almost looks as if they're going the back 5 at the moment, potentially. Yeah,
it looks like Toby Havainen is a left wing back and Adam Gorey on the right. So here's Gilly de Souza, Brazilian trying to skip on through. W on ship with an early touch there, the captain of Pascoe Vale, and immediately boxed out there. Gilly de Souza with plenty of grunt work in midfield, there's no doubt. And there's the first look there at young Danish centre half, Rasmus. And just redheads in that back line now for South Hobart. So Adam Gorey with some real competition this year, perhaps, is Darcy Street's favourite ranger.
Yeah, well, that's certainly not something that's been up for discussion over the last few years, Andrew, I'd have to say. Certainly does appear that South Hobart have the traditional back 4 and were just deceiving me there perhaps early on, or we'll get a little bit more of a look at how they line up as things go on. Nick Morton riding a challenge there quite well, and it's a great ball up over the top here. Felipe Bernabé Madrid just winning the throw there for his team. Good work from the Santiago.
Nice ball from Ballon too, just releasing him over the top. Pascoe Vale trying to get a feel for the ball early in this one, but Gilly de Souza heavily involved early. Havainen chips it in and they'll just go back to Feely in goals. A bit of an awkward one for him to deal with, but does so nicely, and that's a fairly obvious foul in the back there.
And he'll be getting involved like that all day, Will Foley. It's another great chip ball up over the top. It's a brilliant touch to take it in. Well covered there from Gorey to just knock that one away, but Pascoe Vale looking threatening here early over the top on the right wing. Gorey now being dribbled at. Great overlapping run there. Cross is just put in, Bowman defends. Dangerous stuff there from Pascoe Vale, looking to get in over the top of the South Hobart fullbacks as they look to get up the pitch.
Yes, Santiago, the Bernabeu, really looking like a key outlet down the right. Early doors here, very early doors, but they head that way again, and he flicks it over the top of the ice-cold Frenchman there, Loic Farral, one of the classiest customers in the NPL Tasmania, back to young Kieran Brown. A rush clearance and eventually headed out of there by a Baskel. And from Nick Morton, donning the captain's armband today for South. This is the Warthog. Very much an experienced player in this South team now.
No, he certainly is, and he's been a quality performer in the NPL Tasmania for a number of years now. Great crossfield ball there for Alex Walter. He's got Hamlet in the middle, goes low to him, but brilliantly defended there, you have to say, by Calabria. Just making sure that Hamlet couldn't tuck away at the far post right there. Very well done.
Gilly de Souza. He was at Kingborough last year. He has caught the eye early on, Gilly de Souza, hasn't he? A couple of those switching balls. This is a really good signing for this team. Here's Morton. Under pressure there, came through the back, won the ball, but just a bit too much of the man as well. So a set piece opportunity for South here.
Certainly like to see the ref at least looking to play the advantage right there, which was good to see.
Good Everton fan, this referee. I've got good vibes about this man.
Well, I've always said that you're not really a Liverpudlian unless you go for Tranmere Rovers, Andrew. So I'd say he's a bit of an imposter. Morthog to deliver. Great ball across. Thinks D'Souza got a little touch there before Loic Farrell couldn't take control. Pascoe Vale looking to again get busy up that right-hand side. The bull Declan Foley just getting involved there. Pascoe Vale looking to play some calm possession here with their defence and do a really good job of working it out as Abascal the Rascal plays a nice little 1-2 there. Back again with Abascal. On the inside to Balan.
Foley in fine nettle early on.
Foley certainly digging the elbows in and barging the shoulder about, which is typical of his style of play. He's tenacious. You see Gorry now stuck to his man rather well, and good to see Walter tracking back the runner. Hennessy now plays across to Abascal, and for the first time he fails to play a ball up and over the top of the defending South Hobart lineup.
He's got a couple over the top nicely early on, the Rascal, but on that occasion, Loic Farrell goes to Tobias Havainen, who's out-muscled, but play on and chip down. The Danish centre-half gets it away, stooping away from Hatzimaritis there. A threat up top.
Do you remember the Rasmus in the shadows?
In the shadows, yeah. Absolutely. And we're in now. 5 minutes on the clock, so it's going to be no play for the next minute. Just applause for Hakeem. Of course, 5 would be his number. Working out there today. And certainly, I think this applause can be directed at everyone who's working so hard on the Save Hakeem campaign, especially, as we mentioned earlier, Craig Foster. Absolutely phenomenal effort from him.
It's wonderful to see a great image there of the unity between the two teams. As players stand with their opposing numbers, unified in the pursuit of an idea and not just the competition of football. And it's straight back into the game. These players are not mucking around. Abascal immediately looks to switch the play with Pascoe Vale before some calm feet from the centre-half. Just sucked Ben Hamlet into a foul there. But that was just really good to see the community come together there for a minute, Andrew.
Yeah, always a powerful occasion. Yeah, crowd, just minutes applause. I suppose it depends on the circumstances. Always been a big fan as Morton just guilty of a handball as he tried to surge in down the right there. He had plenty of field out in front of him, and it was a 3-on-3 developing for South, but not to be. There's one Ship driving inside. Alex Walter tracking back nicely. Here's Foley. Ben 10 just shouldering that one rather awkwardly out.
Yeah, it certainly didn't come to him at a particularly useful height, but the best he could there did Hamlet. They're certainly liking those balls, looking to get up and over the top, and the gaps left behind the fullbacks there, Andrew.
Yeah, you can see the South Hobart defence, leaving perhaps a few holes in the wide areas with the wing-backs pushing up so high, and Pascoe Vale very keen to work in behind them early on as they play it around the back. Oh, classy from the Rascal there. A lovely touch, and then chips it over the top. That's a great ball, and Chester down, and Foley to Brown with a fantastic save. A strong right glove. It was a fierce shot, and a great piece of keeping there from the young goalkeeper.
Just a marvellous save, getting down to his right really well there, but how about the ball through from Abascal there? Struck sweetly and did a fantastic job to just palm that one wide. Great play, great keeping.
Hatzimaritis the one with the shot, and geez, he got it down from a height on the shoulder to his boot very quickly, didn't he?
Just can be really awkward, those ones that bounce in front of a keeper too, so top marks for that save. As the corner is curled in for Pascoe Vale. Doesn't really get through to anybody, but bodies in the box colliding everywhere. Loic Farrell just thumps it upfield. He's got nobody but Havainen and the Rascal. Gives him a bit of a shoulder barge there, does Havainen, but calmly done from Abascal, who is looking very good in this first 8 minutes or so of football, Andrew.
Yeah, he looks classy at the back, doesn't he? As this one's worked up the field. Slightly tough, that one for Calabria. It's a throw in. Oh no, they've kept it in, and Brown lays it back to the archer, Jack Bowman. Works it further forward there to Walter. Foley switching the plate with a lovely ball to Havinen. So the South Hobart new signing slides it through for Morton and just caught Pascoe Vale a little by surprise there. I reckon they're expecting the ball outside, but they did have plenty of numbers back.
I really liked that actually from Havinen. It was a great run through the middle. Managed to draw 2 players to himself, but just don't quite think that Nick Morton was on the same wavelength of him at the end of that move. But promising signs there from South Hobart that they can turn the screw against this Pascoe Vale team, who've probably been fairly dominant, I'd say, across the beginning of this game.
Yeah, shaded it slightly, but I think you'd expect them to probably have a little bit more of the ball. South won't be too concerned. But, certainly the one clear-cut chance of the game falling Pascoe Vale's way, and a good piece of keeping by Kieran Rowan, who's last couple of seasons he's just come on in leaps and bounds, the young keeper. He's shot up a bit too. He's got a real keeper's build now and been a key part of this South Hobart side now, keeping Graham Wright out, an experienced Scotsman. Chance to ball in. Here's Von Ship. Lays it back to Ferrance. Patiently go back to the defence before pulling the trigger. Here's Hennessy. The whiskey dropping it off there for Ballon. Back out again to a Pascoe. And driving it over the top and just leaving a little bit in on him there. And the free kick will go the Victorians' way.
Is that 3 fouls on the foul count there for the Foley?
Yeah, look, if there was a betting market for most fouls in the NPL this season, I know where my money would be heading.
Oh, he'd be at 99 cents.
Yeah, don't know how you get the value. He's a real disruptor in the midfield, but just blends that grunt with a little bit of silk. Good get for South Hobart. Sure, Knights wouldn't want to have lost him.
I'm almost a little bit disappointed Knights have lost him. That's taking a big chunk out of their midfield.
This one's worked over the top. Morton lets it run. Hamlet shows good control and then lays it off for Gilly de Souza. They're breaking down here with Gorry. Walter just waited on it. Might have been better off making a run, but instead it's Vainen who provides that, and they'll get the throw eventually. But defence scrambling back in coverage from Pascoe Vale here. South had a couple of good moments on the counter-attack, playing those switching balls. This man's been at the heart of all the best moments so far, Gilly de Souza. Bowman. Back to de Souza. Now Foley. To the Rasmus. Here at centre half. Gilly de Souza trying to thread the eye of the needle. Gorry bursting down the right. Now Hatzimaritis, who's caused some problems early on, but the Danish centre half initially did well, then blasted it straight in there on Calabria. That'll be a goal kick.
He was taking no prisoners there, was the Rasmus. He's absolutely whacking that one. Certainly been impressed by Hatzimaritis. In particular early here, Andrew. He's certainly looking to really press and get at this South Hobart defence, and seems to be making Bowman in particular a little bit uncomfortable in possession, but they worked that one through well to South. Had Walter overlapping on the outside there, did Gorry, but that was a very poor pass indeed. He's going to look to recover, but doesn't really play his forward pass to anyone in particular, and Pascoe Vale again repel.
Beautiful day in the sunshine here at Darcy Street at South Hobart to make some inroads, and the first ball of the season goes over that fence, the first of many, undoubtedly.
Just donates a ball to the local children. Did Tallarico there, I think. Proper fullback defending, also quite generous. And I think Gorry's had about 10 metres stolen from him there, which is certainly rare to see in football.
Yeah, it's normally the opposite. He's lost plenty of meterage there. Bizarre.
We'll forgive it. Ben Hamlet now trying to balance the ball on his nose like a seal, but the ball comes through before a foul is committed there against Joseph Youssef. He certainly looked busy early on. Showed good speed and good touch in the midfield. Just requiring a lot of attention too from Foley. That's going to continue to be an interesting battle, I think. Feral TV gets it down to Havainen, who shows some good strength there in holding off the challenge. Souza to Bowman. Again, some great pressure there from Hatzimuratis, and the chip attempt. Oh dear.
W. Von Schiff almost catching Kieran Brown out there.
Oh dear, and he just misplaced that shot, and it was certainly on, but just as I flagged a couple of minutes before that, Hatzimuratis once again making Bowman look a little bit uncomfortable there at the back. The turnover could have forced a goal there, but remains at 0-0. The Erasmus sticking to the shadows there.
The shadows with Erasmus, but Bowman will be jumping at shadows here in a moment because he's had Hatzimuratis breathing down his neck all game, as you mentioned, and certainly is making them quite uncomfortable. So Hobart just feeling the pressure at the back being dialed up here by Pascoe Vale. A throw in taken. Lloyd Farrell immediately tight to him. They win it back. Gilly de Souza to Foley. Now the Archer. De Souza. 10 from South Hobart to move it forwards quickly, and they found Ben Hamlet here on the left. His shot was blocked. And then a sliding block. It'll fall for Hamlet again. Can he steady himself? He can't quite control it. Still going Ben 10. Numbers will win out in the end though for Pascoe Vale. He just couldn't quite get a hold of it. And they get it clear, but they have looked dangerous in transition, South Hobart, when they break with speed. Getting numbers forward quite quickly. They might do so again here through Morton, one way then the other. Slides it out to Feral TV. He's got two in the middle. But never gave either of them a chance. Poor clearance straight to Nick Morton. The Morthog, oh, well defended there. Was that the Rascal, I think? It was Ballon. Eventually they'll clear, but some promising moments in attack for South Hobart.
Yeah, certainly were there. It was typically tenacious work there from Ben Hamlet just to be getting involved, and that was a bit of a handball potentially there from the Rasmus, but certainly gets away with that one. It'll be interesting perhaps to have a look at in a little bit. Ben 10 once again getting involved in the aerial duels despite his lack of height. Gorry just gets caught out a little bit here, and it's Davey Vance Ship. Loves to get onto that right foot. Was looking for it. The ball falls across the face here, but in a good position was Loic Farrell.
Really puts himself about the pitch, Ben Hamlet, doesn't he? Just tremendous work rate up top. He flies in for everything. If he hasn't got the natural build of a target man, he'll give you plenty of compete level. As playing out from the back is Calabria here. Back to Hennessy, who just drives this one wide, looking for the burnabout.
Really good to see how much South have adjusted after those first 5 minutes where they got caught out a couple of times in over the back and over the top, and just seems that they've been able to nullify that now. Really good header away there by Hennessy. It's been pretty impressive at the back alongside of Pascoe.
Nick Morton picking it back up, slides it in towards Havainen. It's Gilly de Souza. He's surrounded by three. Clever little chip to Morton. Couldn't quite control it though. There goes Calabria. South growing into this game, you feel. And Morton shrugging off the attentions of Hennessy. It spills away at Hamlet with the snap shot. Well over the top there from Hamlet. They are looking more comfortable as this game's grown, I feel.
Managed to take that shot incredibly quickly there, did Ben Hamlet. I was almost expecting Gilly de Souza to just ask him the question why he wasn't played through there, but showing typical unity of the South Hobart side, just gives him a clap and says, not a bad effort, mate.
Those of you just tuning in, 0-0 the score in the Save Hakeem game here, this pre-season friendly. If you haven't already, do sign the petition that is in the links spread around social media, the YouTube bio and on the Facebook page there. And do your bit for this worthy campaign as the punters have this afternoon here at Darcy Street. Turning in the attack here is the Burnabout. Slides it across to Davy Von Ship. You want to get onto the right foot. Gorry well aware of that, slides it through, and that's easy pickings for Kieran Brown. A simple one for him there. Now look to transition quickly through Adam Gorry. Walter. Oh, that's uncharacteristically sloppy from Walter. More Ship again. Back into the middle, they're driving at them here. South with plenty of bodies back behind the ball. On Ship. There's a crowd. Foley just leaning the shoulder in there. Two bulls going at each other in Von Ship and Foley. Either will take a backward step. Bowman pressing out. Just feel like Pascoe Vale just knocking around trying to draw South Hobart out here. Lure someone out of position. Kept a hold of the ball well until that one, straight to Foley.
Did look like Hamlet just left a little bit in that challenge at the end there, but not picked up by the referee. The Rasmus. Great ball through from the Morthog to Feral TV. Combines well with Havanen, who rides the challenge well. Foley now. Looks back out to Feral TV. Just a poor touch there from Nick Morton, and that move moves away for South Hobart. Comes up into the middle, Joseph Youssef with a brilliant ball through. Gets it on the outside. Bernabeu Madrid steaming in on goal. It's got Hatzimaradis. Can't miss. Puts it away. And a great move there from Pascoe Vale to open the scoring. 1-0 in the Save Hakeem match. Wonderful to see, I think, the visitors taking the lead on a day that will mean a lot to them.
No doubt. And they've threatened a couple of times with a very similar move down this right-hand channel. And this time found some room in behind. Did the Bernabeu, waited till the central defender committed and then rolls it across, and Hatzimaradis, well, he's not going to miss from there. A player of his calibre made no mistake, roofing it.
I'm a big fan of
1-0.
Second assists, Andrew, and you've got to give a bit of credit to Youssef, I think it was, in midfield, who played that ball up the right-hand side just there for them, and that was a marvellous ball through. And it was really impossible for Bernabeu Madrid to not really put that right on a plate.
Yeah, you can't give teams like Pascoe Vale that kind of space in behind. Lining up in the middle, Foley. How will South Hobart respond here? It's Pascoe Vale on the ball. Ferrante knocks it back, and then knocking into him again was Foley. And I think Ferrante is just getting a bit annoyed at the attentions of Foley here.
Well, look, that's four fouls for Foley by my count already, so this is typical of the lad. He's getting stuck in, and I just think a few Pascoe Vale players might be having a word to the referee about that one.
Yeah, I think they might be saying, come on, it's a friendly, let's dial it down a bit.
I don't really
more
think
concerned with their protestations than Foley at the moment.
Yeah,
mate.
don't really think that the word friendly football match comes into Foley's vocabulary, does it? I think once he crosses that white line, it's live or die.
It's on for young and old at that point.
He goes to war when he crosses the pitch. Doesn't matter when the game is, who the game is. Plays to win, and he plays hard.
And plays well, more importantly. He's a very well-rounded footballer. As a Youssef, with a little bit of time, strokes it back. Sensing the opening, they've shown great patience in the opening 22 minutes, Pascoe Vale, just knocking it around until they can draw someone out. And they've pulled the trigger with those chip balls over the top. They look to do so again here. W on Ship. On Ship driving inside onto the right. Does them all, ends up there and parried away by Brown. And they survive there. It wasn't the best shot in the end from Von Ship, just straight at the keeper. Now Hamlet with a chance at the other end. And well defended there by Calabria. Very composed. End-to-end stuff at the moment.
Yeah, brilliant there from Calabria. And a very good ball through, you have to say. If the defender hadn't been there, I would just about back Ben Hamlet to score chances like that. He certainly did it for fun over a season in the NPL when South Hobart were champions, not last season, but the season before. Youssef now, with a brilliant crossfield ball again. Santiago puts the ball across the face there rather poorly, when he could have done a little bit more for the arriving Hatzimaradis. South Hobart now recover. Havanen really floating about the pitch there, was playing on the other side, but appears to have switched with Walter. They're just in dispute there, but brilliant communication there from Foley, calling in a Alex Walter to try and compete for that ball when it was running away from him. Been a fairly good match so far, you have to say, Andrew. Just perhaps lacking a few clear chances for South Hobart, but they haven't been without a threat, that's for sure.
Yeah, they've carried a threat. I think Pascoe Vale have looked a slightly sharper team for sure, but South holding their own, but they have looked vulnerable down that the least little quadrant of the field really for I'll do the defending this time, but they've seen the Vale sneak in behind on 3 occasions, and it led to the opening goal of the game as Walter lets it go for Gilly de Souza. Went for a little nutmeg there on the rascal, a bit rascalish on the rascal, but he's having no bar of it. Throw in by the Frenchman. And Hamlet with the extended arm there, drawing the eye of Pascoe. Hatzimarides will try and take it away from the Rasmus, but the Dane said, I'll have that, and dropped it off for de Souza. In the bullseye's the Morthog now. Got 3 in advance of him, and now Gorry overlapping, switches it up to Walter. He's got room to have a run if he likes here, Alex Walter. Instead, he chips into the channel for Hamlet. Just the wrong option for mine. And it might lead to a counter-attack back the other way as Davy Von Schip chips it over the top again.
He was onside.
For Vale. This one will just draw him wide. He will want to drive inside now at Feral TV. Centering ball for Von Schip, who's been busy buzzing about this area of the field. And all over him here is Foley. And play allowed to continue, I think. And the shot eventually comes in just wide. And I think they probably might have preferred a free kick there, Pascoe Vale.
I think that Foley was just almost trying to have a dance.
He was.
Bit of ballroom dancing there from Foley with his direct opponent there.
He's just guiding him about the penalty area.
Certainly one to take the lead, but Pascoe Vale again turning the screws here. It's Yusuf to Hatzimarides. He goes backwards to Hennessy. Hennessy looks up and sees Pascoe, the rascal. Nothing too rascalish about that pass though. Quite comfortable. Been rather impressed with the work of Ballon in midfield too. Seems to keep this team ticking quite well.
This man has been heavily involved in attack on Schip. He draws the crowd every single time.
He's got beautiful feet, that's for sure, Andrew.
Especially for someone of his stature. Very skillful player. South Hobart also aware of his threat coming into the game. It's Davy Von Schip.
Often the bigger men can labour a bit on a football pitch, but it just seems to be natural, quick movements for Davy Van Schip.
Pascoe manufactures a pretty good pass for Hatzimarides. Bowman just about wins it. Somehow got him from behind. Here's Morton. Lifts his head up and plays a poor ball. And they're just breaking down in that final third at the moment, South. The initial pass out's good. They break forward and then just poor decision making has been costing them a chance to make any real inroads so far. There's a few signs of pre-season football creeping in here from South Hobart. Not quite the crisp, sound decision making we see from the regular season. There's no doubt that's a foul on Von Schip. Number 10 plays a 1-2 with Hatzimarides, then returns it over the top. The Rasmus, perhaps expecting his keeper to come, never did in the end. The ugly up and under, which goes straight to Von Schip, who turns inside, hits the deck, and doesn't get the decision he was looking for. As this one is looked across the back to Hennessy.
Certainly be curious to see if there was any contact there, because he didn't really appeal for a penalty, but at the same time, when players go down in the box, there's only one thing that they're looking for, but certainly doesn't seem too fussed and knows that he has another 65 minutes or so to try and get on the score sheet. So play continues.
I think the Rasmus will be a relief, man, after that attempted clearance. Just went into the stratosphere and came straight back down.
Didn't mind the attempted fancy footwork too there from Tallarico. Gets the ball up. They're really looking to go with Van Schip now.
He raises his arms when he jumps for a header handler. It makes him look like he's going to punch the ball every time.
It's a very fantastic way to put people off. He always has the ability to make sure that those arms never make contact with the ball, or most of the time a defender's face. But, oh, just a clumsy foul there from Loic Farrell.
Was it clumsy or was it very well thought out, Morgs?
I don't know,
he was
Andrew.
on the deck and out of it.
Perhaps I'm not as cynical a man as you.
Oh, that is cynical. That's great stuff from Loic Farrell. He knows he's not getting up, and he says, I'm just going to land on your legs here and give the free kick away instead. That's great
Andrew,
stuff.
you always see the worst in men, and I just have to say that was just an unfortunate slip there from Feral TV.
The worst. That is the dark arts football at its best, my friend. I've got nothing but admiration for that move. And he gets away without a booking, which really makes it effective. Allows him to just get the bodies back in defence. He's a wily customer, the Frenchman. He knows exactly what he's doing.
You'll have to ask him in the post-match about the truth of that one. Hard to tell from the images, but curled in now for Pascoe Vale. Poor cross, though. Well repelled. Shot from distance. Pascoe the rascal. Nearly put it bottom corner, but didn't quite get the power that he wanted there, and he's going to have to defend now because Gorry is steaming up that right-hand flank. Looks to Havainen, who's perhaps just been switched sides because Ken Morton feels that Walter can help out a little bit more on this left-hand side with the threat that's coming from Santiago Bernabeu Madrid.
Yeah, perhaps. I reckon that shot a moment ago took Kieran Brown by surprise there. He saw it very late. Across to it, but I don't think he was expecting it to come through. Well, shot on target for Pascoe Vale.
Always a difficult one there for the keepers, though, when you're expecting that the ball could just end up as a bit of a ping-pong type situation. Joseph Youssef now plays a beautiful crossfield ball. Pascoe back inside, but well pressured there from Walter. Already perhaps showing a little bit of that increased defensive presence on this, what is South's left-hand side. Been taking a bit of a beating from the right winger in Bernabeu Madrid.
Calabria off for Von Schip. Valericio. Now Hennessy. He's been the trigger man at the back today. Not getting the ball to him, and then he releases those long balls. I near Joy coming with them. That's off the head of Foley, back towards the Rasmus. Hennessy commandingly away. Loic Farrell tried to work it back to Gilly de Souza. That was ill-advised. And now it's Madrid working it through to Maridis. Work it his direction, lays it off. Von Schip now with space. It's dummy Von Schip. Oh, well done, Nick Norton. He's been blown for a foul. He's not happy about it. Slides in and blocks, and Von Schip has gone down in a heap. We'll have another look at that one.
We'll need a close look, I reckon.
Norton was furious with the decision.
Yeah, he certainly did get a bit of the ball.
Yeah, I thought...
and not a lot of the man by the looks of that.
I thought he got the ball, and that then caused Von Schip to slip on that.
It's one of those ones that almost looked like just as Van Schip made contact with the ball, that was when the challenge came in, and we'll just see a slight deflection there. Yep. So as he struck the ball, I dare say that it's planted on Nick Morton's foot, which has led to the bit of a Shane Warne type spin situation coming out from that challenge. But
yeah, and off balance, he's landed rather awkwardly on that an ankle by the looks of it. Some concern here for W. Von Schip, who's really lit the first half an hour of this game.
Certainly think there was nothing malicious in that one from
certainly not.
The Morthog. Just looking to stop a shot from distance and help his keeper out. Unfortunately, sometimes you can have your ankles injured. We'll just be hoping that Van Schip gets up and recovers well. Walk it off, lad, as they often say. Certainly good. Is good to see him largely walking fine, so Appears that the damage won't be too serious, perhaps just a slight sprain.
Hopefully he'll be all right to continue here. Just a reminder, those of you tuning in, if you haven't, to please sign the petitions going around, the Amnesty International and change.org Save Hakeem petitions. You can find the links on the FFT Facebook page, South Hobart, and Pascoe Vale's Twitter. Certainly in the YouTube description there's a couple of links there, so if you haven't already, do sign those as we look to send the message. And I think a very powerful message we saw pre-game, everyone on the pitch there, wonderful scenes. So do keep tweeting and Facebooking away and showing your support for the cause. So what the football family is capable of, and we'll see what Pascoe Vale have got over the dead ball here. A free kick in a very promising position. A chance to double the lead up and onto that wall for a corner. Taken there by Ferrante. Flicked off there and Von Schip immediately back out there, which is good to see. Little ginger, but seems to have recovered all right, so nothing too serious there. Well, the big number 10.
He's not, he's big and blonde.
Corner ball swung in here to the back post, palmed away there by Kieran Brown. Alex Walter moves it forwards. Pascoe Vale, the numbers back there, and despite Havane and buzzing about, they show good composure there, Ballon and Tallarico. And Feely can settle it down.
Hasn't had many touchies, Feely.
No, not much touchy-feely at all in this game so far. And certainly not from Foley in the midfield.
Yeah, no, that's for true. Just looking to maintain a bit of calm possession here. They are certainly working those balls in, up and over the top, aren't they, Pascoe Vale? Really carrying a threat with them. And they're certainly good to watch when they get on the ball like that. The Rasmus. Just probably the softest one of the day going against Foley there, but on my count, that's foul number 7. And it's always extraordinary when you manage to get through 7 fouls without even really a telling off.
Yeah, I think in February, perhaps you will.
It just looks like the first sub of the game is coming in.
And no point taking any chances at all with Dovey Von Schip. With the big season coming up, you can't risk his health. So we'll see the sub. You've got the Pascoe Vale list there, boys.
Certainly do have it, and it is the number 18, Steve Katsakostas, I believe, or Hatsakostas.
It's either K or an H.
I reckon that's an H. Hatsakostas.
I reckon it's Hatsakostas.
Get ice, get ice.
As you can just hear down
tweet
there.
in at us if you do know the answer to that. We've got whoever wrote the team sheet out. Handwriting a 101 is a class A, might want to attend. Granted, I belong in that course too, so I'll see there.
You certainly do, mate. You didn't get your pen licence until you're in grade 6.
Yeah, it was a real struggle getting that one. Never wanted it, big grey-lead man. Pull out the rubber if you make a mistake.
The 2B. Well, let's see if they can rub out Pascoe Vale's lead here, South Hobart. We're seeing what Hatsakostas has to do with us. Need to buzz around early, maybe get on the end of this throw, but heaved a bit longer into the box. Falls as far as Declan Foley. Pascoe the Rascal tries to knock it around Walter, but Walter shows good pressure there. Just wins his team a throw-in. Really think that probably has worked from Ken Morton, that switch between Avanen and Walter. Certainly has appeared to just limited the influence in the game of Bernabeu Madrid. Ben Hamlet really kind of scuffed and got underneath that one, but continues to compete as he always does. Ben 10. Shows great touch there, and Pascoe just probably got a little touch on that and could have nearly gone out of play, but first good take of the day there for Feely, showing that he's just not solely a spectator today. going to look to get moving forward again now, Pascoe Vale, but just being calm in possession at the back as they have done all day before they tend to look for a nice run over the top. Hennessy now. Great combination here from Pascoe Vale, and some great feet there. And Foley has just belted the ball into a prone player. As we just have a look here on the replay, the foul there clearly from Nick Morton before just absolutely booted into the head of the player on the ground there from Foley.
Necessary.
Yeah. One could argue that he was trying to get the game on quickly, but sensibly just running away from the referee there, who I think missed that one, is Foley.
He's just fair belted it into him. Give him the benefit of the doubt, so it was a misplaced pass.
Look where the ball ended up, though. Bang on the spot. So you've got to give him a bit of credit there.
Well, they're in the walls at the moment here, Pascoe Vale.
Thought to himself, did Foley, you know, if I whack that bloke flush in the cheek, that is going to end up on the spot and we can just get on with this business. No mucking about. But looked a little bit offside there and rightly flagged by the linesman. Yusuf looking to get inside. But now D'Souza for South Hobart. Didn't really get onto that pass and sold it short. Pascoe Vale again looking to get forward. And there's that man, the sub. Hatzakostas. Foley and Hamlet just looking to make a Subway sandwich there.
Here's a chance for Ben 10 in the middle of the park with the left foot spreading it out, looking for Walter, but the Rascal read that to perfection and then chips it over the top the other way.
That is a
the Bernabeu, who just rather blatantly handled it.
I tell you what.
Pats Maridis again. It's superb at the back there from a Vascal.
I've got to say, I love the name and I love the play. And Vascal the Rascal has probably been the best player on the pitch for me today.
Yeah, enjoyed his work.
He has been imperious at the back and really positive in looking to get his team going forward. And it's often been his balls or the balls of Yusuf that have made this Pascoe Vale team look the superior side today.
How deep Nick Morton's dropping to get his foot on the ball here at the moment. Perhaps a sign of the way things are going. Just at the moment, here's Walter. Foley, a little bit of a revenge foul that time from Ferrante, sensing a chance to get one back on him and tried to rip his shirt off.
One of the good things about Foley, I reckon, too, is that he can take it.
Oh, he smiled, didn't he? He laughed. He probably felt that one was coming.
He said, I deserve that. Great closing down there from D'Souza, who's probably given himself a bruise on the thigh for tomorrow. But some brilliant commitment as usual.
Final moments of the half. It's Hatzakostas. Ambitious ball, that one really made Ferrante work, and South Hobart able to turn it back over. Here's Hamlet. Quite control it. D'Souza. Oh, just took a little bit long there, D'Souza. He extracts himself from the trouble nicely though, and then put Morton under the pump a little bit. Works it to Hamlet, back to D'Souza. They've fought their way through it pretty well, South Hobart. And it's Ben Hamlet now charging at the defence. He's just overhit that one for Walter. And again, the decision-making in the final third has just not quite been there today for South.
That was a really promising situation for them too, because they had Gorry in an acre of space coming down the right, but probably did look for the correct option there in Walter, but they had men all over the place, South Hobart. As he rightly said, just struggling to get it together in the final third. Feely now pumps the goal kick long. Ball falls to Feral TV, who turns it over straight away, but once again turned over, and Morthog. There's a bit of space up the left here. Brilliant left-footed cross, and just if he was a foot taller there, Ben Hamlet, he's going to thump that into the back of the net. Great movement from both players involved there, but just a little high on the cross. And they were looking to get inside there, but they've got 2 players offside. And South Hobart play the offside trap very well indeed there.
Nicely as a look at the Morton cross again, fizzing it in. And both defenders doing well. Good readjustment from Hennessy there in the middle too. Did really well to adjust his body position. Tobias Havainen was just lurking at the back post. If it had skipped on through to him. Here is Havainen. One back by Pascoe Vale. Last couple of minutes of the first stanza here at a sun-soaked Darcy Street. This save Hakeem game. It's Hakeem's club side. Pascoe Vale leading by 1-0 here. Thanks to Hatzimaritis, who had one just put on a platter for him by Madrid, who seems to have that one put on a platter for him as it sails over his head. Look for Vale. Throw it in to De Salza. Great ball for Alex Walter. Just waits for it to catch up, then surges away. He's got 2 in the middle. One of them's Hamlet, who worked himself to the front, but a tough one for him, and cannons off his shin into touch for the goal kick.
Geez, the centre-backs have been pretty impressive for this Pascoe Vale lineup, haven't they?
Giving them no joy. Lots of Hamlet and Walter up top.
Havainen now on the ball for South. Declan Foley. That's very disappointing for South Hobart. They're a much better team than that. Just letting a cheap one get away from them.
So 45 minutes tick by here. Be a little stoppage time for the Von Ship injury, but in friendlies I don't think we tend to see too much of it, and indeed that'll do, says our official, and into the half we go. An entertaining at times first half, but just a little rust perhaps showing. It's Pascoe Vale leading by 1-0. They did threaten down that right wing several times, and eventually they found at the back of the nets through Hatzimaritis there. But pretty enjoyable game so far. I think some promising signs and some areas I think for both teams to work on after what we've seen there so far.
Yeah, certainly, but I want to name a player that I think's been the best out there so far. I think very tough to split either Yusuf in the midfield for Pascoe Vale or probably that man at the back who's been doing incredibly well at Pascoe the Rascal. Just really controlled the game quite well for Pascoe Vale, not only ensuring that South Hobart haven't had any effective moves in the final third, but really getting their team going forward well as well.
So we have a look at the highlights of the first half here. South Hobart have had a few promising counter-attacks in transition. They've shown good speed, but just haven't been able to pick that final pass, whereas we saw at the other end some pretty dynamic football from Pascoe Vale. And of course, the minute applause there after 5 minutes. So I'll leave you with the first half highlights and be back in around about 10 minutes time.
As they're not mucking around. Pascoe.
Yeah, crowd with this minute's applause. I suppose it depends on the circumstances. Always been a big fan as Morton just guilty of a handball as he tried to swing back, pushing up so high, and Pascoe Vale very keen to work in behind them early on as they play it around the back. Oh, classy from the Rascal there. A lovely touch, and then chips it over the top. That's a great ball, and Chester down, and volley to Brown with a fantastic save. A strong right glove. It was a fierce shot, and a great piece of keeping there from the young guy. Back out again to a Pascoe. And driving it over the top and just leaving a little bit in on him there. And the free kick will go the Victorians' way.
He gets it down to Havainen, who shows some good strength there in holding off the challenge. Souza. To Bowman. Again, some great pressure there from Hatzimaratis. And the chip attempt. Oh, dear.
W. Von Schiff almost catching. Now the Archer. Into Souza. 10 from South Hobart to move it forwards quickly, and they found Ben Hamlet here on the left. His shot was blocked. And then a sliding block. It'll fall for Hamlet again. Getting steady himself. He can't quite control it. Still going Ben 10. Numbers would win out in the end, though, for Pascoe Vale. He just couldn't quite get a hold of it. And it's Gilly to Souza. He's surrounded by 3. Clever little chip to Morton. Couldn't quite control it, though. There goes Calabria. South growing into this game, you feel. And Morton shrugging off the attentions of Hennessy. It spills away at Hamlet with the snapshot. Well,
back out to Feral TV. Just a poor touch there from Nick Morton, and that move moves away for South Hobart. Comes up into the middle. Joseph Youssef with a brilliant ball through. Gets it on the outside. Bernabeu Madrid steaming in on goal. It's got Hatzimaratis. Can't miss. Puts it away. And a great move there from Pascoe Vale to open the scoring. 1-0 in the Save Hakeem match. Wonderful to see, I think.
Respond here. Pascoe Vale on the ball. Ferrante knocks it back, and then knocking into him again was Foley. And I think Ferrante, someone out. And they've pulled the trigger with those chip balls over the top. They look to do so again here. W on Ship. On Ship driving inside onto the right. Does them all, ends up there and parried away by Brown. And they survive.
Champions, not last season, but the season before. Youssef now, with a brilliant crossfield ball again. Santiago puts the ball across the face there rather poorly, when he could have done a little bit more for the arriving Hats.
All over him here is Foley. And play allowed to continue, I think. And the shot eventually comes in just wide. And I think number 10 plays a 1-2 with Hatzimaratis, then returns it over the top. The Rasmus, perhaps expecting his keeper to come, never did in the end. The ugly up and under, which goes straight to Von Ship, who turns inside, hits the deck, and doesn't get the decision he was looking for. Just another Frenchman. He knows exactly what he's doing.
You'll have to ask him in the post-match about the truth of that one. Hard to tell from the images, but curled in now for Pascoe Vale. Poor cross, though. Well repelled. Shot from distance. A Pascoe the rascal.
Work it his direction, lays it off. Von Ship now with space. It's Davy Von Ship. Oh, well done, Nick Morton. He's been blown for a foul. He's not happy about it. We'll see what Pascoe Vale have got over the dead ball here. A free kick in a very promising position. Chance to double the lead up and into that wall for a corner. Taken there by Ferrante.
Great combination here from Pascoe Vale. And some great feet there.
Park with the left foot spreading it out, looking for Walter, but the rascal read that to perfection and then chips it over the top the other
rascal.
way.
That is a
Bernabeu, who just rather blatantly handled it.
Ball falls to Feral TV, who turns it over straight away, but once again turned over, and Morthog. There's a bit of space up the left here. Brilliant left-footed cross, and just if he was a foot taller there, Ben Hamlet, he's going to thump that into the back of the net. Great move.
Look for Ryle. Throw it in to De Souza. Great ball for Alex Walter. Just waits for it to catch up, then surges away. He's got 2 in the middle. One of them's Hamlet, who worked himself to the front, but a tough one for him, and cannons off his shin. Be a little stoppage time for the Von Ship injury, but in friendlies, I don't think we tend to see too much of it, and indeed that'll do, says our official, and into the half we go. An entertaining at times first half, but just a little rust perhaps showing, and it's Pascoe Vale leading by 1-0. They did threaten. So, welcome back here to the Theatre of Dreams here at Darcy Street for the game for Hakeem. It's Pascoe Vale 1, South Hobart 0 at the half. A tidy finish from Hatzimaritis being teed up by the Burnabout, where Pascoe Vale got plenty of joy down there right-hand side in the first half, but the positives and plenty to work on for both teams as they iron the kinks out in this pre-season game. But of course, as we've been saying all day, and as everyone here packing out Darcy Street today is well aware of, today is about much more than the 22 players out on the field. In fact, it's about one player who should be out in the field who isn't, and that is Hakeem. All our thoughts with him, and a great response online and from the people turning out today for this worthy cause. And let's hope we can continue that through the second half. Keep tweeting away, sharing stuff on Facebook, and let's send a message of wonderful imagery here from pre-kickoff with all the spectators and both teams lining up for a photo on the pitch to send that message, and maybe we continue to push it, as I'm sure South Hobart will look to push back into the game here in the second 45. Any changes you've spotted?
There certainly are. I've spotted one.
Yes, I've spotted
Big Albie.
Big one. Here he is. I got told you only have 20 minutes. Morton's decided, no, we need 45 perhaps. From the Big Albie, great to see him out there, Albie Lazinski. Last time he had a full run at it for a season, he was utterly dominant. Unfortunately, on his side, he's scarcely been able to get on the park in recent times.
Yep, and my commentary could be descending to fast level very soon, because I thought that Hamlet just on the completely wrong wavelength of Albie's pass there to just get started. So the big man's getting involved, and I like to see it. Certainly, I think he's as fit as I've ever seen him too, so he's going to be getting up and down the park well. He's got some power to throw around. I love a good target man. Just be interesting to see where he spends the majority of his time now. But on the ball for Pascoe Vale. Looking to get that ball in up and over the top, but I think they're going to have a bit less joy doing that in this half, because there is a bit of a breeze difference. But Pascoe Vale recover again. Youssef nearly takes a brilliant touch, but Luke Farrell gets it away to Albie Lazinski, who plays a sweeping ball in the direction of Gorry. And the race is on. Gorry just wins out, pushes it through for the new sub for Pascoe Vale, and almost ending up top corner and leaving quite a divot in the pitch there. Brilliant forward run there from Gorry.
Yeah, just couldn't quite direct across there. Did all the hard work and won the foot race. Came storming down that right in customary fashion, but just couldn't quite bend it back enough.
Get a load of that divot.
He took a fair chunk out of the pitch there. Did Adam Gorry. There's the Rasmus. There's Farrell coming through. Lazinski. De Souza caught the eye in the first half. Gilly De Souza. He's driving at them here, and he unleashes one from range. Keeper always had it covered wide of the post. And, I think they might have swapped keepers at half-time, Pascoe Vale.
Yeah, I think there's been a couple of swaps there. I think we're seeing Jonathan Vakurtzis, at least in the info that we've got on the team sheet, has come on to the left-hand side. I think maybe Tallarico that he's come on and replaced.
Hatzimaritas still out there, and so too is Madrid. The two real threats in attack in the first half. Alex Walter cannons off him into the path of De Souza, combining with Hamlet. Couldn't quite team up there. And will elude Lazinski and roll out of play. Hobart looking to drive the attack here. Slight wind behind them at their backs here for this half. Pretty beautiful day here. Thankfully the winds have died down. Obviously for interstate viewers, tough times here in Tasmania at the moment with the bushfires. Our thoughts go out to everyone impacted by them as Hennessy turns and smashes that one away. But do with a little less of the nice weather, unfortunately, down here at the moment. There's Lazinski turning, the big fella. Hennessy away. Vainen. Yeah, body's out around the ball at the moment. Lunging was Faral. It's a foot on it to prevent it reaching Hatzimaritas. Vicky Morton down there taking the snaps, doing everything. Vicky Morton, the driving force of organising this game. Had to go off there.
Well, she's a wonderful organiser, Vicky. It's a testament to that, the amount of attention that she's managed to have drawn to this game. Really good to see. And there's Nick Morton getting involved. Pascoe Vale managed to pass around though, and they earn a throw.
Morton's also too Senator McKim and MP Andrew Wilkie also heavily involved in the organising of this. Great to have political support for this all-important campaign. And very, very important, especially with the extradition hearing perhaps being held on Monday. In this case, it's really critical moment in proceedings. So I think there's the link in what we've shared with, you can email the Thai Prime Minister. Do that and let your thoughts be known.
Yep.
This Australian citizen granted our protection as a refugee should be coming back home as Gorry slides it through for Hamlet. Hamlet driving at the defence here. Little nutmeg, that was cheeky. Now it's Nick Morton. He manufactures a cross. No one had gambled on it, but Lazinski will get it. He's got De Souza at the top of the box. Heads in that direction, just a slightly heavy touch. Recovered by the Brazilian though, and now the referee gets involved. It worked out pretty well for South. Morton gets it to Walter, who lashes it straight to the side netting. It was an ugly hit and a disappointing end to a promising attack.
Well, that is an understatement there, Andrew. He had a couple of bodies in the box there, did Walter, and just selfishly opted to try the low percentage shot to the near post. Got it horribly wrong.
You'll at least get that on target and try and force a rebound from the keeper if you're going to take the shot on you. You can't be missing that side of the goals. If you're going to miss any side, go far side, so at least you might give someone a chance to get to it.
Yep, but disappointing there. Yusuf now for Pascoe Vale, plays it through. I think that maybe had to cost us. Plays it back now before Gilly D'Souza comes in and just has a whack at the ball. When in doubt, they say, Andrew.
Indeed, and more action on the substitutes bench here.
Looks like Luca Santilli coming on now and giving Santiago Bernabeu Madrid his rest.
An impressive shift from him. Set up the goal and created a couple of chances. He really caused problems getting in behind down the wing, and he looks a lively type. In for a big year. And a cracking name. Madrid. This is Pascoe Vale on the attack here. Good piece of work from Calabria, but South have plenty of numbers around. They need to spread away eventually. Lazinski just coughed it up there though to Ballon. And super impressed with his game. He's keeping things ticking over.
A little bit surprised to see that Lazinski's been playing off the left. Would have thought that would have been him and Hamlet getting switched up there because he just probably lacks a bit of the pace and mobility that Hamlet does. More of a target man, but Hamlet showing that pace and mobility there. Turnover now, Morthog from distance. Well, the keeper was off his line and Just perhaps if he'd managed to hit that a bit harder and make it dip a bit more, the chance was there.
Yeah, plenty of time and space, but the execution unfortunately lacking from the Warthog. He's got the ability to pop them in from range though. We've seen a number of goals from outside the box in the NPL competition as Vale goes back to Kieran Brown. Takes a touch and then slightly errant pass read by the rascal Pascoe. Did it nicely. He's charging on through here, but nothing comes of it on this occasion. Through to Kieran Brown again. Here's the Warthog driving the play. Intercepted. And substitute Santilli getting involved. His first involvement in the game. Works it to Yusuf. Now Ballon charged down. Keep up and sweep around here. Back to that dominant fullback of Pascoe at the line. Just mistiming his jump there and getting all into the back of the young Dane. That'll be a freight. There's Hatzimaritis infringing. Erasmus making the decision. Bowman under pressure. Composed though. Onto the Warthog. You see South Hobart trying to mimic what we saw from Pascoe with pulling the trigger early and playing those diagonal balls quickly forwards, but not having quite the success their opponents did in the first half thus far. Santilli. Oh, De Souza goes down, wanting a decision. Won't get it. Get back to his feet. Advantage paid, and Brown spotted off his line. That was an ambitious effort from Ferrante. Didn't get nearly enough on it. Just sensing Brown pushed out a little. Bowman with the look away pass, didn't mind it. Gorry. And very close attention and too much attention in the end, and a free kick there.
Brilliant work there from Yusuf, just ensuring that the pass could not be taken quickly. Cynical stuff, and oh, the geez, that could have been an ugly challenge there just as the ball runs away from one player. But some good hold-up play there from Lazinski. But Morton played himself into trouble, and there's a break on here for Pascoe Vale. It was Yusuf one side and Hatzimaritis the other. Hatzimaritis now running at the Rasmus. Doesn't really have much on in the box, so he heads backwards. Balan knocking the ball about all day. Santilli now, but just plays the ball to nobody in particular. Recovered by Brown. You're getting Bowman moving now. Looked largely calm so far since his move into midfield has the Frenchman Loic Farrell. Once again, South Hobart breaking down as they reach the edge of the final third. I'm absolutely loving this Pascoe Vale coach down there. He's a passionate man.
Certainly letting his thoughts be well known. That one's worked inside. Jack Bowman closing it down, defends it away. Hennessy has been pretty solid at the back. Here's Lazinski. He's made an impact so far since coming on. He spreads this one wide. That's a lovely ball for Alex Walter. Turning back inside is Walter. Escapes a lunging challenge and then keeps going. Alex Walter! Just past the post. It was an amazing little run. South Hobart's best moment of the game. He just couldn't apply the finishing touch.
Well, he just took him apart there, didn't he? The sub Vikertzis, and then helped himself to another two of the Pascoe Vale players. Really brilliant stuff there from Walter. He really does have that X factor in this South Hobart side. It's that player that can beat a few men, put it into the back of the net. Wonderful dribbler of the ball.
So you question Lazinski on a wing, and I must say I was raised an eyebrow at that too at the start. But they've been knocking the balls to him, and then he's just been launching these diagonals beautifully.
Did just have that thought. Just after that ball played through to Walter just before. Certainly he's playing the long balls well, but just flicked through there. It falls to Walter at the back post, gets a head on, but only falls as far as the Pascoe Vale defender. Farrell now out to Gorry. Walter a mile offside. Just allows the ball to go through to the keeper. Really looks as though Pascoe Vale are looking to get their best that they can out of this game too. Working hard on their organisation.
Their season not too far away. Fuel Victoria, slightly closer than ours. Still a month away from the NPL Tas, but it is creeping up, and we want to start getting into gear, that's for sure. So they'll play it around the back again here. Calabria into the middle. Sharp turn, just gets around Loic Farrell. That was classy stuff there from Hatzakostas. Didn't get the return ball though. It should allow Tobias Savainen in. Just left it behind, but Lazinski bailed him out quite nicely. The big fella. Some lovely footwork, and then the Souths are coughing it straight back up, and now Albie's going to be forced to defend. Did so, and a raking ball is a poor one. Goal kick. So there is the dexterous Albie Lazinski. He is looking sharp, and that's a very promising sign for South Hobart's 2019 aspirations, I'd have thought. A fully fit Alex Lazinski is a big difference maker. Here's Walter.
It's almost looking like the first half now reversed, isn't it, Andrew?
South just, it's obviously a fair bit to do with the wind, but plenty of those long diagonals being knocked into that corner, and Alex Walters trying to really have the role that we saw Madrid performing in the first 45.
Just heard the Pascoe Vale coach giving a bit of a spray down there to Vikertzis, allowing Walter to get in behind him again.
As he said, they're doing it every time. They're hitting that ball. You need to be ready for it, but our teams have struggled to deal with them, haven't they?
Just hear the sounds of the game coming through the mic there, which I'm happy to let run for a little.
Hamlet back to Havainen. A youngster dashing through the middle of the theatre of dreams. He's released Nick Morton with a wonderful ball. And Morton tried to guide it back for Hamlet and missed him. A glorious opening for South Hobart, and they're unable to profit from it. Splendid play from Toby Havainen, and it should be 1-1 really. That's a delightful little ball from the man who came across from Kingborough. And Morton just unable to find Hamlet. I thought he'd pull the trigger himself, to be honest. Dinked it back and just missed his man.
Got to play that across the deck, don't you? Just got to play that one on the deck.
Leave it on the deck or shoot, one or the other. He went in between, and really lovely weighted ball from Toby Havainen.
And a great run from the Warthog too.
Signs for South though, finding their way back into this in the second half, having a bit more of the play in their final third. But
I certainly do think that the breeze is a bit of a factor here today. It's not the strongest breeze, but it is flowing directly from one end of the ground to the other. So it really does favour those kind of in over the top long balls that we've seen both Pascoe Vale and South Hobart come out with during this game. So perhaps just seeing South Hobart get the benefit of that, just carrying them a little bit longer in over the top and not sitting up in the air for quite as long. Plays an advantage for the attackers. Interesting to see if that continues, or whether Pascoe Vale managed to have some success with those ones in over the top. But there they go again, and Walters through here. It's pretty much a one-on-one, but he hits it first time and puts it well wide. Probably could have taken another couple of touches there, but just a bit eager to shoot there, Andrew.
Yeah, he seemed to have the centre-backs done for pace, and then just screaming out to take another touch. He had them done. He had the wheels. Maybe he was just getting a little bit tired. I'm not sure. He's been running around a lot, but tried the early shot, catch the keeper by surprise. And unfortunately, that's been the story of the day for South in the final third. They've just not had the quality with the final shot or the final ball. They've just been a little bit off, and I guess you could put it down to the time of the year. But I don't think Ken Morton will be particularly thrilled with that. So that's nice there from Hatzimaridis, the goal scorer. Jack Bowman read it nicely, fakes the pass, and then gives it to the Warthog Morton. South playing with some good intent, and again they look to drive it over the top for Hamlet. Easily dealt with on this occasion. Walter just getting in the back there of Vakoutis.
Calabria just seems like he's starting to work out those longer balls, I think. We did hear Pascoe Vale technical staff shouting out to wait a bit longer, but I'll hold off on that thought for a second because Hatzimaratis was nearly in. South Hobart now looking on the counter. And just whacked a little bit there, you have to say. It was D'Souza.
Yeah, Hatzikostas a little overzealous. Bumping in on young Toby Havainen. A bit of a break in play. A chance for us to spruik the links. GoFundMe, the petitions, the email form for the Thai Prime Minister, they're all there. The FFT social media channels, do sign, do share. Let's keep pushing this campaign on. That's what we're all here for today. Save Hakeem campaign. Very well supported.
Certainly, hopefully we have some Thai listeners too who would be willing to contact their government, put some pressure on them about this decision.
Yeah, it's on all of us. Take 30 seconds and it could save a man's life, so please, if you haven't already, do sign those petitions, send those emails, etc. Really dial the pressure up on the Thais for the extradition court hearing to be held on Monday. It is critical that we really bombard them these next 48 hours or so. See Hakeem delivered safely home. So here's Morton driving that one down the guts and easily gathered by the keeper.
What are we doing?
Oh, Pascoe coach is doing his best Gabriel Marcage impersonation right now on the sidelines. So I know Gab tweeting away about the game. He's listening in. We miss you, Gab, but you've got an imitator here. What are we doing? He's screaming out there. He's fuming. And it hasn't been a particularly inspiring 20 minutes from Pascoe Vale at all.
He's absolutely right to be annoyed. He's watching his team really get overrun by South Hobart, but it's just the South Hobart that haven't been particularly efficient in that final third, Andrew.
Yeah, they've not punished them. They've been let back in here with some sloppy football at times. Pascoe Vale, but South Hobart unable to get themselves back on terms. Certainly things going a little bit better for them this half, as that's a clever dummy, but really gathered by the archer at the back. Bowman retreats, puts Brown under pressure. That's deflected out. Pascoe Vale body, it'll stay in. Yusuf turning back inside. That was tidy. Not so tidy there though, and Luke Farrell can clean up for South Hobart. Morton, Lazinski turns inside. Looks immediately for Alex Walter. Instead goes down the other flank for Havainen. Havainen, back heel for DeSouza. Gilly DeSouza crossing, couldn't find Hamlet. Havainen belts it over the top again. The chances are starting to mount here for South, but they just cannot make them tell.
A really good advantage played in there from the referee too, which I didn't quite see him give the signal for, but Loic Farrell was caught on the back of the leg. The referee about to blow his whistle saw that it fell the way of South and just allowed that to keep going, so got to give the referee credit where it's due, really allowing the players to play the game today, I think. I'm pretty impressed from the man.
It's been a very fine job. The man in the middle thus far.
And I like a slightly lenient ref as well.
Yeah, he supports the right team, so all roses as Hamlet has fouled. Yeah, he's fouled Calabria. The Darcy Street faithful don't share that opinion, but I think he did infringe on him there.
Yeah, and I would also be comfortable in saying that Calabria made the most of it.
Absolutely.
So
but,
you give defenders something like that, then usually they'll take it.
Show me a defender who won't. If they feel the contact and they can go down like that, they know they're going to get the decision. Here's Nick Morton again. South winning the ball back quickly, and Alex Walter in a little bit of space on the right here. It's Walter, a couple of step overs, then back to Morton, and he tried to pick out the far corner. They're getting closer, but still no cigar here for South Hobart.
Just seemed like they've lost their energy here to Pascoe Vale. There's a little bit of activity down here on the bench again.
Jerry Skelthorpe is one, and Tay Evans, I think, the other, who's going to be introduced for South here.
Ken Morton just looks to be pushing it on a little bit here, I think. Feral TV coming off. So you see Tay Evans, yep.
He's a popular man here at Darcy Street. Yeah,
certainly seems that way. Well, I haven't seen him line up for South before, so...
Ben Hamlet will be the man to be replaced by Pajari Skelthorpe. He was a striker of some promise, I think. Last year was only slightly disappointing. He didn't really take the mantle as that number 9 and score the bag of goals we thought he might, but he's got time on his side. He's still a very young player with bags of talent, and he'll get his opportunity again this season to make his mark. He can be prolific, Pajari Skelthorpe.
And Tallarico is going back on.
Well, there you go. It's the joy of pre-season friendly. You can be a bit more flexible with interchange/subs.
I don't mind it at all.
More about minutes in the legs at this time of year. That's surely offside. And had he stayed stationary, he might have been all right. I thought he probably got involved by starting to run there, to be honest. The referee said no, he wasn't involved, so I've let play continue.
Yeah, the linesman on that far side there just put his flag up and then put it down.
I felt the step that he made kind of got the Rasmus to react to him, and therefore it should have been offside, but I suppose he didn't make a play on the ball.
I suppose you could argue that, and being a man who loved Alexis Sanchez's goal in the FA Cup final, I certainly would agree with that, Andrew.
That's the way you like to interpret it.
Yeah, I just don't think he interfered whatsoever there.
Of course, it's always through an Arsenal lens. As this one is thrown in, that's a Costas. One that worked into the box, falls away, a big Lazinski.
He's just got a magnet attached to his boot since he's come on as Albie Lazinski.
The Skelthorpe did well here. Skelthorpe was up against 2, boxing him out.
He throws his body about, which is good to see. Walter now in a battle.
It's a free kick. Been good in this second half, Alex Walter.
Well, he's been superb since he's had Verkurtzes to deal with. He's really taken control of his game, you have to say.
A bit subdued in the first half, but he's really shown his quality, hasn't he, in this second 25 minutes.
If I'm not mistaken, and I may make a fool of myself, was Tallarico operating off the other side on the left, defending, if I'm not mistaken, in the first half?
Yes, I believe he was.
So it just seems that he's having a bit of a joy with that switch. And Gorry for South, curls it in, good looking cross. Pajari Skelthorpe was looking threatening, but it falls through at the back post to the Rasmus. What can the centre back do? Gets tackled, shows interesting turn, but just gets the ball snatched away from him there by Hatzikostas.
And there's the defender looking to go down, and there's the other defender knowing he was going to do that and stepping away, anticipating it. It was wily stuff there from Erasmus. We have another look. There's the ball initially, and then, yeah, the centre-back knew exactly what he wanted to do, and he just stood off him, and he went down anyway. So a bit hard done by there, I reckon, was the Erasmus. Maybe lent in on him, but down pretty easily. 70 minutes have ticked by here at the Theatre of Dreams. This one's worked over the top by Tallarico. Bowman heads it away only as far as Santilli. Take the throw in. Pascoe just looking to maybe take a little tempo out of things. South Hobart, a happier team with the way things have gone in the second half, but the score remains in favour of the Victorians. There's a chance to put a cross in here. It's a deep one. It'll fly over all comers' heads. Adam Gorry first to it. Puts it out in front of him, and in the end, just ran out of real estate there. Impressive Yusuf will leave it behind. Kutsis. Turning at the top of the box, tumbling. Referee says play on to Sousa. Gorry. Forges it forward for Sculthorpe. He's surrounded by white shirts here. Just work him off it. Yeah, and probably a good result for South Hobart to get a throw from it.
Yeah, and a 3-on-1, you'd take that. Gorry now for South. Interesting seeing Yusuf pushed up the field too in this second half. Shown a lot as a player today, but hasn't quite had the attackers on the same wavelength at times. Hatzakostas wins a free. The ball's played in beautifully there for that man, Yusuf. He's got Gorry for company. Looks like he's going to run at him, but puts the ball on the left foot. It's a brilliant cross, really, and Havaden's done brilliantly well to head that away and get his team launched on a counter-attack. He's got Walter up the other side, but just hung on to it for a little bit too long there, I think. The ball whacked out of play there by Balan.
Zinski over the head there of Sculthorpe and nodded into touch for a throw in. South Hobart get back on terms here. They've got about 20 minutes left to do so. And get something out of this one. So the throw in, be taken. Lazinski lets it run. Stepping in nicely there, it was Tallarico. Bowman. Back to Kieran Brown. And the referee has spotted something off the ball there. Play gone down. Not sure what's happened there, whether it's innocuous. It's Ballon, who's impressed me today, is holding the knee there. With one ship already having gone down.
I reckon I know what that one is.
It's the stinger.
Yep, the stinger on the inside of the knee. Probably just copped a bit of a blow there from Albie Lazinski. The follow through from that coming together. I think that's the definition of one that you'll walk off. Maybe a bit of a bruise.
Play back underway. Vainen. Searching for an option, retreats back to the Erasmus, who launches it over the top. Wynn does some funny things with that, but well defended in the end. Gorry, Evans, lost out there to Ballon, who seems to be all right. Looking back well was Evans there. Nice recovery from the youngster, doing the defensive work. Pascoe Vale. He's trying to take a little bit of the sting out of the game in the last few minutes and slow things down to get things back on their terms. So dealing with a little bit of pressure for a good 20-minute period there. Some room out on the right here. That's Akostas. Working it in. Oh, dangerous. That's Maritas threatening De Souza. Quite get enough on that for Walter, who really had to work back on it. Showed too much of it to Yusuf. Pascoe Vale back on the ball now. Koutsis. That's Maritas. Tallarico. That's Akostas, and now they spread it wide again. This is good patient build up, and now they swing in onto the head of Gorry. Didn't deal with that at all well. Yusuf sneaking that one through the legs, and Brown gets down. And, quite have the power to beat Kieran Brown, but I don't think he would have been expecting it to go through the legs of his defender.
No, he did well there, did the young goalkeeper. It was one that you'd expect him to save, but also one that you wouldn't always expect to come in as a shot. He's done quite well. Just think Yusuf's been just about far and away the best player on the pitch today, Andrew.
Classy, hasn't he? Looks like South Hobart about to shuffle the deck. I can see the big, long-rangey figure of the giraffe, Oscar Thomas, and the rest of the menagerie, the war horse Hugh Ludford. Looks like Alex Walter and Jack Bowman are coming off. And the third sub, who's the third youngster we've got coming on here?
Number 18 for South Hobart, it looks like.
Ewan Larby will be the third coming on there. So he replaced the Erasmus and Thomas and Ludford. Slide in at the back there. The young Danish centre-back, plenty of options in the heart of defence this year.
Certainly looks it. I'd be guessing that Dogger Brown will be a feature as usual, or?
No, I don't think so. So shifting more to the coaching side, I believe. But you never know with the immortal Dogger Brown. This one's worked in there into Souser and Thomas just not talking there, and both going for the same ball, and it spills the way of Pascoe Vale. Havainen anticipated it nicely, and I think he's won the throw. No. Well, he played that one off the Pascoe Vale player, perhaps not.
Yeah, you can't keep a dogger caged.
So 13 minutes left in regulation here. South Hobart to try and claw something back. Slightly quieter in the second half, but was dominant in the first half, was that man, the rascal of Pascoe. Here's Adam Gorry. Dusty Street's favourite ranger, chips it up there for the Morthog. Lovely work there. Lazinski's busting along to get there. He closed it down, but Calabria did nicely and will surely get the throw in. Santilli. There's the 1-2. Ballon, and then they'll work it back all the way to the keeper. Chips it wide. Spaces a Pascoe. And he swings it long. This was a feature of their play in the first half, and it's worked out pretty well here, but the Giraffe. Good closing speed from the Giraffe. Perhaps not known for that, Giraffes, but he got across to it nicely and puts it behind for a corner.
Yep, but he just reached that one like he was eating leaves off a tree, didn't he?
It's across and sneaks the noggin in there.
Brachiosaur-like.
Yeah, by the time he's 24, 25, he may well have reached Brachiosaurus type stature. Gosker Thomas, fine young defender. He'll have to deal with this corner. It swung right into the mixer. It was a teasing ball. And he tracked down. It's a slightly heavy touch from Calabria. And made a bit of a meal of that one in the end. And his coach, I think, was happy with the option he took and gives him a chance to box them in a little. De Souza. Gorry. Immediately seized upon. Back to Calabria. Thomas. Away, and again, Pascoe, our coach, bemoaning the straight balls his team is playing. Wants a little more angle, it would sound like.
D'Souza now for South Hobart. As Sculthorpe and Morton combine. Morton earns his team a throw. Push back up the pitch to South Hobart.
Morton back to Gorry.
Oscar Thomas just dwelling on the ball a little bit there. It's just a little bit too straight there from Ludford, but the ball gets played through and Oscar Thomas just gets enough of a toe on it to direct it out of the path there of the substitute in Santilli. Evans now. Oh, just a poor pass there, really. Him and Havainen not quite on the same wavelength. Starting to look a little bit more like a pre-season game in the last 10 minutes, Andrew.
A few tired bodies out there at the moment. I think the other thing is with all the substitutions that get made, it's quite disruptive, and that's perhaps we've seen from South Hobart. A good period at the start of the half, but they've really changed personnel now. bodies might need a few minutes. Pascoe Vale, I think as far as they're concerned, they've got the lead and they'll take a 1-0 at the end, so they haven't got too much incentive to really break out and attack. Inside at the final 10 minutes here. And once again, reminder to sign the petitions, send the emails, etc., all the links in the YouTube channel there below, on the FFT Twitter and Facebook pages. If you want to know how you can help the hashtag Save Hakeem campaign. It's been wonderful to see people doing their bit today, and it'd be wonderful to see South Hobart get back on terms here. Nick Morton trying hard, and they'll get themselves a corner. So endeavour to do that. They're going to send the cavalry forwards. Watford, Thomas, De Souza working in there. It looks like they're going to have 7 in the box, South Hobart. And plenty of bodies back as far as Pascoe Vale are concerned. Swung into the mix, and Lazinski was in there. Lardford deflecting around the box. Pajari Sculthorpe stretching, lunging, trapped it between his legs. They steer it goal and it's cleared away. Chaos in the box, but Pascoe Vale surviving. Gorry can punt it straight back in here if he wants. Instead gave De Souza a very sharp pass at close range. Did well to control it. Evans, De Souza. Back out to Gorry. Gorry wants to pull the trigger. That was shut down, so goes to De Souza. And the Pascoe Vale defence do well. Nicely played in the end by Ballon to break that up. And South Hobart pressing, knocking on the door there. Quite find a way through. Evans. To Larby. Now Adam Gorry. The channel for Lazinski. Pajari Sculthorpe went instead. I thought that was meant for Lazinski, that ball. And his heavy touch goes through to the keeper. Let's go there, holding on. He's the rascal. Full pass onto the back heel of Sculthorpe, who disrupted it. He's getting a little bit sloppy. Some of the play out here at the moment. He's the giraffe, nods it down. Delricho wins it back, and then they've just blasted it forwards and holds up in the wind, so Thomas must go back. Gorry sends it long for Morton. Stretching nicely was Vakutsis. And composed play at the back from Pascoe Vale here. So the final 6 minutes of play in the match for Hakeem. Will his teammates pull it out for him? Slipping that way as Ludford shielding. Has he kept that one in? He has. And yeah, Gorry gets absolutely cluttered into, although I do think the ball has been judged to have gone out here. So it's going to be a throw in for Pascoe Vale, even though Gorry's on the deck at the moment. Look at the camera work there, and yeah, definitely out of play. Very sharp work here today from the Duff TV team. Our regular hosts, Ash Wilkes, away just gallivanting around New Zealand, so we've tapped in the services of Duff TV, and they've done a wonderful job today here, bringing you these pictures, and we thank them for their work today.
Superb job.
If you need to stream anything locally, they're very much the men to get in touch with there. A fine job today in replacement of our regular High On Stream team, as this one's worked back to Ballon. Calabria.
They're just starting to become a bit frustrated at each other, Pascoe Vale, for a team that are 1-0 up. Certainly good to see a team setting the standards, and as you rightly say, their season is a bit closer than ours, so standards may be a bit higher for them at the moment. Not quite working their way back into a pre-season, but really getting ready to go for another season of NPL Vic. Yusuf now has been the most impressive man on the pitch. Played through here, it could be a second for Pascoe Vale. but just a collision between Oscar Thomas and just about everything on the pitch there. Leads to the chance being squandered, you have to say.
Yeah, interesting to see another look at that one. It was some tidy play in the build-up. Lovely combination work here, and then Oscar Thomas just comes across and wins the ball nicely. He's not able to control it, so terrific defensive play there from the Giraffe, who's shown no signs of rust coming on in this one. He's had 2 vital interventions at the back. He's always been a favourite of mine, an immensely talented defender, Oscar Thomas, and he could be in for a big year here at South Hobart. Final few moments here. It's been a lovely occasion, a lovely day of football at Darcy Street for obviously a very serious cause, and hopefully it's made some difference. Continue to campaign in the coming days. Involved here certainly will. Keep up the pressure. Have a look at that wonderful piece of defending from Oscar Thomas, coming in from around the side there and just wrapping the legs around. Good to see Santilli getting back to his feet here, albeit certainly came off second best. But he's walking off under his own steam, which is good to see. We don't need any more injuries. Davey Von Ship already having exited the game for Pascoe Vale.
And I can just spy Davey Van Ship down there on the bench. Bit of heavy strapping applied to that ankle. Hopefully that's nothing too serious. So certainly enjoying his exploits out there on the pitch, and you'd be hoping that he can get out there for Pascoe Vale when they begin their campaign this season. But a corner for them now. Another out swinger. Falls away to the far post, but again comes out over the back. Tallarico gets it on the left, and that's a fairly decent cross, perhaps slightly overhit as Tay Evans really puts himself into trouble with that poor first touch, but gets it to the hold-up play in Albie, and then tries to take on the Rascal. Kieran Brown nearly spills it before he attempts to launch the counter now through Gorry, and he's got a runner, but perhaps just goes the wrong side. So you had the runner that I was referring to was Mick Morton up this near side. Yeah, I think very tight to the touchline and just went the more ambitious pass over the top to the new sub in Ewan Lawley, isn't it?
Larby. Yeah, it's I suppose in the final minute of the game you feel that pressure to maybe get it a bit more direct, but probably would be better off feeding the Morthog, as you suggested there. It made a good run down the right. Time running out now for South Hobart in the final minute of regulation time. Can't think there'll be much stoppage time in a pre-season game, a minute at most. So if they get another shot, we'll see. Pascoe Vale in the last 20 minutes have really wrestled back control of this one. They were wobbling there for a period at the start of the half. South were really dialing up the pressure on them, but couldn't quite convert any of the chances, and Pascoe Vale have professionally seen this one out here, and another free kick will just eat more time off the clock. Angling the body, and did it quite nicely in the end there. So here's a stoppage time now, and that might just about be that. From South Hobart, I'm keeping a couple up top here and hope that you can just launch something quickly.
Oh, of course.
They've only got Nick Morton up there at the moment, surrounded by 4, so all hands on deck to defend, and it's offside. The flag has gone up and denied Pascoe Vale what they thought was an excellently taken goal.
That was that man, a Pascoe, I think.
It's a delightful chip in over the top, and free runners absolutely everywhere.
Great finish.
The Rascal says thank you, but unfortunately the flag had gone straight up on him. So there has been the ball in the back of the net, the other end, and again, Hatzmaridis threatening.
Just on an unrelated aside, if Pascoe doesn't name his son Pascoe, then he'd be doing himself a disservice. Yusuf now loses the ball, and Tay Evans is on it. Could this be a final chance for South Hobart? Chipped over the top to Bajari Sculthorpe. Gets it off the top of his dome, but well defended there from a man who has defended well all day in Calabria. It's the ball back out for Pascoe Vale. Just looking to play things wide there before nice little touch is taken there by the linesman, looking to get things going. Wants to see another chance.
I'm not sure he'll get his wish. Realistically, there should be several minutes of stoppage time, but I don't think we'll get too much more. Here we go. This could be it for South Hobart. Can they have one last foray into the box? Lazinski couldn't control it. Another look at the watch from the referee. He worked forward, not very far. Now Ludford has to go long and strong here. He does just that, works it wide to Morton. Gorry making a bursting run on the far side. Can he work it that way? Morton trying to get the better of a Pascoe, which has been a very difficult task today. And in the end, the cross straight into the keeper's arms, and that will be how it ends here in the match for Hakeem at Darcy Street. A wonderful occasion, and it is Hakeem's team, Pascoe Vale, who walk away with a 1-0 victory, thanks to a first-half goal from Hatzimaritas, blasting one in from close range. But as we've said repeatedly today, it was never really about the result. It was about something much larger, and I think probably a successful day on that front too, Jake Morgan.
Yeah, I think so, Andrew, but certainly impressed by a couple of Pascoe Vale players out there in particular, and I've raved about them on a couple of times, but for me, Yusuf and Pascoe were far and away the two best players on the pitch today. I don't think anybody else really quite got close to them. The work of Bernabeu Madrid up the right-hand side was particularly good for Pascoe Vale, but a little bit disappointing in the final third for South, I thought, despite a wealth of attacking options being available to them.
Yeah, I thought structurally they were good. I thought defensively they were solid. Transition game was good. They're passing out from the back, but just lacked a little bit of that sharpness in the final third, and perhaps that will come with a little more seasoning and match practice that they're probably lacking at this early stage of the year. But I think enough there to work on, enough good signs, and certainly the fitness of Albie Lazinski will be a key. It's been rare that he's been able to get through a pre-season, so plenty of positives there, and Pascoe Vale walk away with a win. And of course, today all about Hakeem, so continue well after the match to keep pushing the cause, really.
Hopefully today's result is a foreshadowing of what's to come in the decision in Thailand, but as Andrew rightly said, we remind you to get involved in that. Please contact all available bodies that you can, and relevant information that will be passed on through social media.
Indeed, so I think we've got a highlights package to end on here. We do, so we'll leave you with the match highlights from the game here today. The match for Hakeem. A wonderful day at Darcy Street. Congratulations to all involved. Mortons, Andrew Wilkie, Nick McKim, Pascoe Vale, South Hobart, everyone who played a hand in organising this one today. It's been a pleasure to bring it for you for Football Fed Taz, and we'll be back in the near future with some more action shortly. But for now, keep tweeting away, keep sharing your Save Hakeem posts, and let's try and save this man. From us at Darcy Street, it's a farewell.
Joy doing that in this half, because there is a bit of a breeze difference, but Pascoe Vale recover again. Yusuf nearly takes a brilliant touch, but Luke Farrell gets it away to Albie Lazinski, who plays a sweeping ball in the direction of Gorry. And the race is on. Gorry just wins out, pushes it through for the new sub for Pascoe Vale, and almost ending up top corner and leaving quite a divot in the...
Farrell coming through. Lazinski, De Souza caught the eye in the first half, Gilly De Souza, and he's driving at them here, and he unleashes one from range. Keeper always had it covered. The two real threats in attack in the first half. Alex Walter cannons off him into the path of De Souza, combining with Hamlet. Couldn't quite team up there. And Australian citizen, granted our protection as a refugee, should be coming back home as Gorry slides it through for Hamlet. Hamlet driving at the defence here, little nutmeg, that was cheeky. Now it's Nick Morton. He manufactures a cross. No one had gambled on it, but Lazinski will get it. He's got De Souza at the top of the box. Heads in that direction, just a slightly heavy touch. Recovered by the Brazilian though, and now the referee gets involved. It worked out pretty well for South. Morton gets it to Walter, who lashes it straight to the side netting. It was an ugly hit. Certainly letting his thoughts be well known, as that one's worked inside. Jack Bowman closing it down, defends it away. Hennessy has been pretty solid at the back. Here's Lazinski. He's made an impact so far since coming on. He spreads this one wide. That's a lovely ball for Alex Walter. Turning back inside is Walter. Escapes a lunging challenge and then keeps going. Alex Walter! Just past the post. It was an amazing little run. South Hobart's best man. Hatzakostas couldn't get the return ball though. It should allow Tobias Savainen in. He's left it behind, but Lazinski bailed him out quite nicely. The big fella. Some lovely football. Hamlet back to Havainen. A youngster dashing through the middle of the theatre of dreams. He's released Nick Morton with a wonderful ball. And Morton tried to guide it back for Hamlet and missed him. A glorious opening for South Hobart.
Not sitting up in the air for quite as long. Plays an advantage for the attackers. Interesting to see if that continues, or whether Pascoe Vale managed to have some success with those ones in over the top, but there they go again. And Walter's through here. It's pretty much a one-on-one, but he hits it first time and puts it well wide. Radis was nearly in. South Hobart now looking on the counter. And just whacked a little bit there, you have to say.
Looks immediately for Alex Walter. Instead goes down the other flank for Havainen. Havainen, back heel for De Souza. Gilly De Souza crossing, couldn't find Hamlet. Havainen belts it over the top again. The chance of the contact and they can go down like that. They know they're going to get the decision. Here's Nick Morton again. South winning the ball back quickly. And Alex Walter in a little bit of space on the right here. It's Walter. Couple of step overs, then back to Morton. And he tried to pick out the far corner. They're getting closer, but still no cigar here for South Hobart. That's Maridis. Talaricio. That's a Kostas, and now they spread it wide again. This is good patient build up, and now they swing in onto the head of Gorry. Didn't deal with that at all well. Yusuf sneaking that one through the legs, and Brown gets down. And plenty of bodies back as far as Pascoe Vale are concerned. Swung into the mix, and Lazinski was in there. Lardford deflecting around the box. Pajari Sculthorpe stretching, lunging, trapped it between his legs. They steer it goal and it's cleared away. Chaos in the box, but Pascoe Vale surviving.
Way back into a pre-season, but really getting ready to go for another season of NPL Vic. Yusuf now. He's been the most impressive man on the pitch. Played through here. It could be a second for Pascoe Vale, but just a collision between Oscar Thomas and just about everything on the pitch there.
Surrounded by four, so all hands on deck to defend, and it's offside. The flag has gone up and denied Pascoe Vale what they thought was an excellent. Will be how it ends here in the match for Hakeem at Darcy Street. A wonderful occasion, and it is Hakeem's team, Pascoe Vale, who walk away with a 1-0 victory thanks to a first half goal from Hatzimarides, blasting one in from close range. But as we've said repeatedly today, it was never really about the result. It was about something much larger, and I think probably a successful day on that front too, Jake Morgan.
Yeah, I think so, Andrew, but certainly impressed by a couple of